All right. Hello, everybody. It is August 2nd here. Hopefully, you guys are able to stay out of the heat. It's pretty sweltering out here in California. Kind of a heat wave we got going on. But anyway, a couple of you on the call here today had some stuff to cover, so I want to get into that, and then we'll open up to anybody else, any other questions that you guys might have. Lewis, I'll start with you. I've watched I watched Josh's video. It's those guys are pretty funny with what they do. A lot of the people in the SEO industry, it really has not changed. All the guys that are they have a lot of followings and stuff, and they are adamant about all of these hacks and things. They don't really care about the future. They're constantly looking for, how do I game the system for 5 minutes? And they do this sometimes with what's considered black hat techniques. A lot of people associate black hat techniques with spam, and in many cases that is true, because they're not really focused on any kind of quality. They're only focused on get the rank, get the rank, get the rank. Whatever it takes, trick the system for 5 minutes so we can prove that we're the best. They don't care about anything beyond that. They don't care about long-term longevity of a company. They don't care about the ranking sticking, all of that kind of stuff. The particular listing that they were talking about, that rhinoplasty in I think it was in Plano, Texas, it's not ranked anymore. It was there very briefly with some very spammy techniques. That particular market has been used in many examples by the SEO industry, by several of these guys, because it was an easy pick. It was an easy target. It was like something that no one else was doing, and they were able to show quick results and make everybody think they're superheroes. When the reality is, none of it stuck, none of it lasted, and it didn't lead to any sales. SEO is a strategy for real business to get long-term, I don't want to say free traffic, but very inexpensive traffic that is coming from the search engines. The search engine traffic is by far the best traffic on the planet, because it's really simple. If someone is looking for you specifically, or looking for what you offer specifically, it is top of mind. There's no better time to intersect them and put yourself in their path. If you're not in line with that, if you're putting yourself there and they're not searching, it doesn't really do you any good. So SEO from a strategic standpoint is figuring out what people are looking for and getting in front of them the way they're looking for it. They use particular keywords, keyword phrases, and in ACT we basically teach that core fundamental of figuring out who your ideal prospect is and what's in their head, how they're thinking, what they're feeling. Those things are going to allude to what they might be searching for. Sometimes people don't know about a particular solution. They don't know about the product that you offer, so to speak. You might have identified, a particular problem that people have, and you've come up with a really cool, unique solution for them that is awesome and would sell like hotcakes if they knew about it. But you have to figure out, because they don't know about it. You've got to figure out what they do know about. What are they facing? What problems are they, suffering from? What symptoms are they having? And that will tell you what they're searching for. Believe me, if someone's searching online for a problem, they have in mind they want to buy something to fix it. As human beings, we want to buy things. We want to collect. We're gatherers. So we're looking for solutions to our problems. And, another part of ACT is identifying a profitable market. You've got to figure out who has the ability to pay and the willingness to pay. the willingness, you can typically create that. The ability, you can't really do much with that. You know, if you're targeting people that just flat can't afford what you have, that's basically just a bad idea. You know, that's business suicide. But if you've got people that have the ability to pay, the marketing creates their willingness to pay for it. So, but you've got to figure out what those keywords are to intersect them and get them actually onto your page so you can do that. You can take advantage of that. Now, once you figure out what those terms are, SEO becomes very important. Because, you know, hey, if 1,000 people a month are looking for this particular thing, or they're searching this particular term because they have this particular problem, and you've got the perfect thing to lay in their path, get them interested, get them willing to purchase that, not just willing, wanting to purchase that, you can actually make a lot of money. SEO, like I said, it's by far the best traffic on the planet. All other traffic forms are disruptive. They're not in line with someone's searching process. So they're, you know, it's an uphill battle. When somebody is actually in line, they're in that process, they're in mode of trying to solve a problem, that's the best place you could show up. So that's the difference between SEO and most all other forms of ads. The other ones are disruptive. They're doing other things. You're not top of mind. Their problem's not top of mind. And you bring an image or a headline or something in front of them and it grabs their attention. But still, they might have 50 other things going on during the day. They're not in that mode of actually, right now, I've got extra time. I want to solve this problem. I've got 10 minutes to do it. Let's go. That's SEO. And believe me, when you get in front of those people and you have the right marketing message, you can make a killing. People have been doing this online for the last 20 years. But the other side of the coin is, you know, all of these SEO guys that are teaching and talking and you know, it's kind of like the blind leading the blind, because they don't have any of that top of mind. All they're trying to do is figure out what's the newest thing today that we can game the search engine to, you know, to get a quick rank for the next 10 minutes. And believe me, if you get your message right and you're providing something good, and the people know about that, people are giving you a good user experience, Google is going to figure that out. They're going to place you at the top. And believe me, when they do, it's going to stick and it's going to last a very long time. That's really the strategy. That's what you want. You don't want flash in the pan stuff. So some of the things that you can kind of figure out of what you want to do, how you want to do SEO to get yourself up to the top. First thing, like I said, first thing is to figure out what keyword phrases that you should be ranking for. And again, that's going to have to do with how your prospect is feeling, what they're thinking about, problems they're having. You know, maybe they know about your product. If that's the case, then you better optimize for your brand. If they don't know about your brand optimization is always a fundamental place to start. But if they don't know about your brand, that's not going to help you until they do. So it's important to have that in place when they do, but in the first part of your marketing, you have to assume that they don't. So you need to figure out, you know, what are those keywords? A really cool thing to figure out languaging is using keyword density to figure out what your prospects like and dislike. And you can do that by scraping. Like if you get some sort of a tool to scrape reviews of your competitors, and you separate those into the top level reviews, like 4- and 5-star reviews, and then you separate the low ones, like the 1- and 2-star reviews, the ones where they think they suck, and you make a large text file out of the scrapings of all of those reviews. And you can also do this off testimonials as well. Make one large text file and then run a keyword density report on it and see which keywords are showing up the most. And basically you've got two files now. You've got keywords that are showing up a lot that they don't like, and you've got keywords that are showing up that they do like. So sometimes that gives you kind of an insight as to what people are actually typing, because remember, all of those reviews and testimonials, those are user generated. That's actually the writing of your ideal prospect. That's them putting pen to paper or fingers to keypad, same thing. But that is really their language. You're collecting it online. So it's a great way to kind of figure out some of your base keyword research, figuring out, and again, I can't stress this enough, it has to do with your ideal client and what's going on in their head. You've got to intercept that. A lot of the famous copywriters say there's a conversation going on in every ideal prospect's head, and if you can write copy that intersects that, and you can step in and become part of that conversation that's already going on in their head, you will win the game. You will absolutely win the game by doing that. So that's a really important piece. So once you get that figured out, once you know, hey, these are the keywords I need to rank for, then what? Do you want 5-second, fixes? Do you want these quick bangs for the buck that'll get you ranked for 5 minutes? Or do you want to make a real strategic business game plan and rank for those forever at the top? That's what I do. That's what I recommend. And to be able to do that, you have to create really good, solid content. And you've got to promote that content. Once you promote it, you get people on it. That's the only way to get Google to see that, hey, this is really good. We're going to rise this up. We're going to stick this. We're going to pin this to the top because it's the best content for this particular keyword. There's a ton of different things from an SEO perspective that you can get quick ranking. And again, quick ranking does not mean it's going to stick. If you don't have that quality behind it, you might as well throw in the towel. You're just going to chase your tail for the rest of your days. It's just not going to work for you. So there's two things as far as ranking factors that will affect how your rank bounces up and down before Google really figures out, who should be at the top. And the first thing is on-page content. It's the code, the actual coding of your site, where the keywords show up, how relevant it is, your keyword relevancy between your pages. Like one of the big things that that I learned from watching. I learned from looking and seeing what's going on. And Wikipedia ranks really high for lots of keywords. It's because of their interlinking. So when you have interlinking going on in your site, one keyword linking to another page that has more data about that particular keyword, Google gets to look at that and they make a keyword cloud out of that, of what the cloud is that wraps around your brand. What encompasses your brand? If you want ideas to figure out what that cloud should be, you can look. Google will tell you right out of the gate. If any keyword that you run a search for, it'll give you the relevant links down at the bottom. It'll also give you keyword suggestions as you're typing keywords into the box. That's called Google Suggest. So there's a lot of clues as to the relevant content that wraps around your brand or your industry. If your site is rich in content for those keywords, again, that's going to give you a lot more backbone than a single page trying to rank a single keyword, a one-shot Willy, for whatever the latest and greatest hack is for today. Again, I want you guys to get off of that mode if possible. The hacks they're just vanity. Make a long-term strategy and build something, build a business around it. That's the way to go. Especially if you're doing client work. Clients, you can impress clients all day long with the top ranking really quick, but a week from now, they're going to, the big thing there is, what have you done for me lately? Because once that falls down, they're going to be up your kazoo wanting to know why. And if you can't reproduce that over and over and over, and you're in this, this rat wheel, it's going to be a miserable life for you. So anyway, so back to that, you got the on page, and that's all the coding on your site. There's a couple of really cool tools out there. A couple of the tools in the video that I just watched with Josh are really good. Cora is one of them. Cora is a tool. It's kind of expensive. It's $200 or $300 a month, I believe. But what it'll do, it'll run a very deep analysis on any particular keyword and show you the top pages that are ranking and why, all of the on-page factors. So it gives you a really, really deep analysis of what's making those pages rank from an on-page perspective. There's another tool that they were using. Let me look. I don't remember the name of it offhand, but basically it's a knockoff tool. They called it SEOPop Pro, and you guys all get that tool. That's basically a white label branded analysis tool, and I've got that available for all of you guys for free. I've relabeled it as the Spy Dominator. It's the same tool. It's an analysis tool. It's inside. If you click on the tools area inside the membership and go to the Spy Dominator, you can sign up for it for free. I've got it there for you, available for everybody that's in the membership. Again, it's an analysis tool. It'll run a deep analysis on all these different factors, both on page and off page. Now, for the off page factors, that's all about linking. And anybody that says linking is not important in SEO is out of their mind. It's still a major factor, but the things about linking that are important have changed. It used to be just whoever had the most links was going to win. That's not the case anymore. Then it shifted to whoever had the most exact match anchor text was going to win. That's not the case anymore. Penguin came through and just wiped people out for that mistake. It's more about the actual interaction of the link. It's about traffic. Google's looking at who's popular. And for a while, that's all they had to look at was how many people link to you to see popularity. But now they're looking at much deeper factors. They're measuring popularity on how many people come up, how many people show up. You got 10,000 links out there, but how many people click on them? You got 10,000 links and they're all on junk sites and no traffic there and nobody's clicking on them. Guess what? That's a pretty bad signal. That's a signal you are not worth clicking on. So like I said, linking is important, but it has changed. The factors about it are important. So if you're going to build links, you want to make sure you build links on sites that have your prospects on them. There's no better way of linking than to get content that's highly relevant to a market and get that placed in front of that market so people click on the links and come through. Give your site a positive user experience. That's the long-term strategy I'm talking about. Building something of value that Google is going to recognize and reward. Google is in business to provide a good user experience. They're there, their whole purpose in life, besides making money, that's their ulterior motive. But their front-end purpose in life is to deliver quality search results. So when you're looking for something, they're going to filter the world and find the best solution for what you're looking for. So if you're not in alignment with that, you're going to have a very bad time. One of the things I equate a lot of the SEO community to is like you're in a constant washing machine. You're just taking a beating. You're getting battered around left and right because you're chasing, the 5 minute fix. It's not a long-term strategy. So anyway, that's kind of some of the stuff you want to focus on. If you're serious about SEO, figure out, SEO, you can't be serious about SEO unless you're serious about your market first. You've got to have a qualified market, and you've got to have something that they need. If you got that locked down, then you can get serious about SEO. And really what you're getting serious about is you're getting serious about delivering what your prospects want. That is SEO. And if you're not focused on that, you're not playing the game, guaranteed. So anyway, hopefully that there's a lot to that too. I mean, it goes really deep. There's so many things. I could spend the next 2 weeks talking about SEO and the tactics and principles behind it. But just be careful who you listen to and who you follow, because, you know, are they based on vanity or are they really based on doing real business? And that's what you should be concerned with. Especially if you're doing client work, your clients should be the most important thing to you. And they're leaning on you for that expertise. They don't know. They want to do business. They've got good products. They've got good solutions, but they don't really know what to do. And that's where you as a professional come in, and it's your job to help them. So help them figure out, you know, who their customer is. Help them figure out what's important to that customer and help them create content for that. That's really the SEO you should be focused on. You know, and then building links, getting that content out in front of the right people on the internet. Outreach programs is probably the best linking sources I know of today. And it's reaching out to other webmasters that have your audience already. You know, they already have a following, and you offer to provide them content, offer to provide them great value to their readers, to their viewers, in turn in exchange for a link. That's it. That is the best linking you could possibly do. You know, there's a great tool for that. I'm going to actually I'll send an email out to you guys later today with a great tool. I know there's BuzzSumo out there. There's Trend Dominator that we have available for you guys for free as a tool. There's another one in there in the resources called Authority Spy. Authority Spy is the one I've recommended for a very long time, but there's a new one that just came out that's even better. And it's called Influencer Spy. So if you go to internetdominators.com/I Spy for influencer, I Spy, I've got a link in there. Jason did that. It's his product. It's an awesome product. The difference between that product and the influencer or the Authority Spy is the Influencer Spy gives you engagement rates. So not only does it show you how big their audience is, it shows how engaged they are. That's a big key factor if you're trying to do outreach. You don't want to outreach to somebody that's just got a huge audience. Again, that's a typical SEO tactic that doesn't work. You're not looking for quantity anymore. You're looking for quality. You know, if it's quantity you're looking for quantity of traffic, quantity of quality traffic that's going to give you a good user experience. That's what you're really after. So if you, like with the Influencer Spy, the thing that does that gives you a huge advantage is gives you that engagement rate. So now you can look up and you can say, okay, who are the influencers for my particular keyword that have a following that's highly engaged? Those are the ones I want to get a hold of. Those are the ones I want to create content for. So you can reach out to those influencers and say, hey, you know, where can I help you? I'm an expert in this. I know you have a following that wants, you know, these kind of things. What's most important to them? And let me create a video for you, or let me create a, you know, a PDF for you, or something that you can give them, they can give to their viewers in return for a link, you know, an exchange of a link. That's what you're trying to do. That is a really, really powerful link building strategy. Yes, it is a pain in the ass. It's not easy. It's not, you know, like buying SE Nuke and blowing 50,000 links out there with a couple clicks of a button. But it's long-term, it's effective, and it's good for the business. So you know, you got to decide, do you want to build equity? Do you want to build a real business, or do you just want to keep throwing stuff and seeing how badly you can get your your reputation with Google. You see how badly damaged you can get it over time. So anyway, that's I'll kind of get off of the the rant there about SEO and get over to Russ. Russ, you listening in there? There he is. I just unmuted you there.
Oh, sorry. I just found your I found the link and posted it in the chat there for the iSpy.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's it. That's a great one. And yes, Jason Potash. I don't know if you guys know him or not. He was like one of the first people online that actually created a useful internet marketing tool, and it was called the Article Marketer. And he had tools to syndicate your articles out to all the article directories. This was way back. I mean, he was cutting edge on distributing articles out to article directories. Now, that's something that's, you know, long gone, as you probably know. It's not something you want to jump on today, but he was on the very front edge of that, and I actually bought that product when he first came out with it, and I'm thinking it's well over 15 years ago. So when he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, take a look at this," I took a look at it. I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, it's like Authority Spy, but it gives you that engagement rate. And you know, he was kind of going over with me how important that is, and I could totally see it. It's like, yeah, you don't want, you know, just somebody with 10 million followers. You want the one that's got, you know, 1,000 followers and 50% of them are listening.
Is there a video somewhere that shows how that program works?
There was when he did his initial launch. Jason's not one of these you know, crazy marketers that markets his stuff 10 ways to Sunday.
Todd Gross?
What's that?
Like Todd Gross?
Yeah, not like Todd at all. He'll, you know, he's more like me. He'll like make something good, and he'll put it out once, and you know, whoever wants it gets it, and that's good enough for him. And he did have originally a really good video that went with it, and I don't think he recorded it. It was like a one-time webinar, and it was really good. He did a walkthrough. He just sent me an email though yesterday saying he was going to get ready to do another one, and he was going to record this one. So he probably will have a video up, you know, in that place so you can see it.
Okay.
Because and it's really a simple tool. There's not a lot to it. Basically, there's two pieces to it. One piece is it finds all the hashtags. Like you put a keyword in, and it will give you all the hashtags that are being used in social media around that. And then you can take the hashtags and you can start hunting for influencers based on those hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
And with the influencer, it gives you a list. It tells you how big their audience is, what their engagement rate is, and basically how to contact them. Pretty simple. Yeah, it's a simple tool. He also, when you buy his program, he also gives you like formatted emails to send out of how to communicate with these guys, you know, and kind of gives you some insight into what their buzzwords are, what makes them say yes.
Have you used it yet, or you just saw it?
Yeah, no, I actually got it. I got a copy from him when it first came out. I've used it a couple of times for a couple of clients and got them the you know, the lists of people, and it's pretty slick. It works really well.
Okay.
I'm still working on getting my Elvis funnel all dialed in and put up and ready to go. And when I do, that's going to be one of the first traffic channels I actually use.
Okay.
So, and it might be good for you too to find out, you know, influencers of like mothers. You know, there's probably a ton of mother influencers, and that might be a really good one for you. There might also be influencers based around skin cancer and a lot of those associations. So it might be a gold mine for you.
Yeah, could be.
And I spent probably about an hour this morning looking at your new version of your page. And I didn't record a video like I did last time. And I just wanted to know if you want me to review that for you here on the call, or I can do it afterwards, or.
If you have time to do it now, that'd be fine.
Okay. Yeah, no, it would be good because I think people will learn a lot from it.
That's great.
So let me pull it up here and I'll share my screen. Yeah, and for all of you guys, if you want me to review something, it's really beneficial to the rest of the group. So don't ever be afraid. You know, I have no problem reviewing stuff on the calls like this. Okay, so this is a much better image here. You know, the image that you had before, it didn't really focus in on the problem. I still think, like on a landing page like this, you've got at the top here, you've got distractions. I would probably still remove this stuff. You've got the number up here, that's great. You've got the login, you know, this stuff up here. If you want to add these links, you know, just put them up here really small. Your logo is okay. A lot of people don't even put the logo at the top on a landing page. They start out with the eyebrow here. You know, and that protect your children by learning the truth. That's kind of your first thing. You've got it about the right size. That looks good. The thing I wanted to point out, and I've kind of been going back and forth on this with you, the difference between child and children. And you've got both, and both make sense. Like down here, you're talking about child. Up here, you're talking children. And when you're talking to a mother, children is a less personal use of the word. Like here, this is not a children, this is a child. And I think if you change that here, protect your child by learning the truth, they're going to get, if they've got more than one, then they're going to automatically relate that to children. But here you're talking about specific, so I think it'll tie in a little bit better. And like I said, I've kind of been going back and forth, not really knowing what the best one of that was going to be for you. But when I see this, and I see the way it is now, I think with this image, I think child. Protect your child by learning the truth. And then here again, keep your child safe.
Okay.
So that's really the only change here. I love the image. That's great. I mean, if you can find one where they're blistered and even worse, then even better. But I think that's, you know, you're definitely on the right track there. The other thing, I would probably take this here. This is your main headline. And it doesn't relate specifically to the image as good as this one does. So what I would probably do is I would take this image, just slide it down to where it's wrapped by this text. So like this text would be next to this image, and then this becomes all the way across the top of the page. So that's like your main big block text at the top. And then right directly below that is this image with this text either directly to the left or to the right of it. I don't know that it matters. But that text right directly with that image. Also, when you're doing text here, you want to keep the lines as short as possible. So like here, instead of continuing this line all the way across until it wraps on its own, I usually put hard breaks in to wrap them myself, to make the text look kind of uniform and not as long. If it's a long sentence, I would rather see it in three layers than one line all the way across. This one I think you can get away with too. Like newborn and young children are highly susceptible 2, and then I'd break skin damage down to the next line. So anytime, and this goes for everybody, what I'm talking about here is readability. And this goes way back to Frank Kern, the way he used to write his emails. He would write them in very short sentences, and if the sentence was very long, he would hard break it. So when you saw his emails, he was probably the first guy that ever sent emails out that were formatted like that, and they were read much more. They were much more engaged. So making it easy on the eyes, easy to read, is very important. Like even this headline, when you put this headline across the top, I would keep it like that. I would keep it broken like that. Just make it maybe a little bit bigger and put it in the center. But don't break it down to 2 lines or 1 line. I think you want to keep it just like that. It's really easy to read, and it's just smack in your face. Okay, so same thing, that same rule applies here in keeping it, broken, which I think you did a good job here. But the problem here is this text runs into this text. It's like too close. There's no separation there. And then,
so what do you want to do with that text?
I would just give it a little bit more breathing room between the end of this sentence and the next sentence down here.
Okay.
It's just kind of breaking things up so it's visually easier on the eyes. This is what a lot of graphic designers are really good at. If you get a good graphic designer, they know what looks good, and they know how to space things and break things up and all that. Like here, you're getting a little long in these sentences. It's hard to read. You literally have to scroll like this. They're reading like this instead of boom, focused, like the message is just hitting them. And it's harder to read.
I'm also trying to look at it on mobile and tablet and things like that and make sure that it flows nicely there too. So you have to kind of balance things out.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, like if that's the case, I would build it for the mobile version, and then it should look good in everything moving up. It's okay to have space around stuff on the sides. That's not an issue. It's so you always build for the common, the lowest common denominator, which is going to be your mobile devices. Okay, so next, moving into this section, you're kind of saying the same thing here. This seems a little redundant. Finally, a way to protect your entire family from the elements. Get the only beach umbrella that is proven. And then here you're introducing the new, UV blocker large beach umbrella. I think that needs to be combined into one message. So this is probably okay. Finally, a way to protect your whole family from the elements. That's okay for the header. But then I would probably blend those two into one. And then this is a great image for that introducing the new, because she's got her hands out there and it's like, voila, here it is. So that's good. Now here, you're basically putting bullets here for things that may not be that important to mom, at least 2 of them. Like this one is good. This is a good reason to buy this umbrella, but you haven't really defined it yet. She doesn't really know why that is meaningful to her. That one's pretty self-explanatory, so that's okay. Here, this is probably a foundation that mom has not heard about and doesn't care about at this point, unless her kid already has cancer. So you're not, you're moving right into a buy button here. So you've got to have the things that are important that are going to make her want to buy it. this one here, the patented vented mesh double canopy system. What does that actually mean to mom? She's going to go, what? You know, I know what you're getting at, and your reasoning behind it is good, but it's not translating into mom's language. So remember, this is geared to moms. So your language needs to be geared to mom. So you've got to talk about what's important to her. You know, like this one I pointed out, hands-free portability. You know, you had that into something else, and I said this is what's more important to mom, is that hands-free portability, because she's got two hands, right? They should be on her children, not on toting the beach umbrella. So the fact she can wing this thing over her shoulder and have both hands available, you know, to cater to her kids, that's important to mom. You know, that's what you want to do up here. This should be like your most high impact thing for why this is important to her. You know, the keep you cooler, you know, yeah, moms might really appreciate that for sure. But you've got to kind of, you know, it's like the here's what I've got, here's what it's going to do for you, here's what I want you to do next. That's what you need to kind of weave into here. That three-dimensional benefits. Three-dimensional benefit, if you think in those terms, that's kind of where you want to get with this. Like, you know, I get what the mesh double canopy system's all about. You know, that's so the thing doesn't blow away. You know, it makes it wind resistant, right?
Right.
But mom's going to read that, and she's going to have no idea about that. She's going to have no idea about the benefit. So you're talking about a feature that is irrelevant to her wants. You know, if you want to get the feature across as this is really impactful for you, you've got to relate it to a benefit first. So this is like your unique mechanism. This is your unique mechanism to deliver the desired outcome, which, you know, her desired outcome might be to not have the embarrassment of chasing her umbrella down the beach when it blows away, and leaving her kids, you know, unattended while she's trying to make sure this umbrella doesn't, you know, spear someone else on the beach.
So you would add a bullet point that talks about the being secure or windproof?
Yeah, that's what you want to do really, is you want to find out what are the most important things to her and then relate your features to those. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's something I would do. Another thing that kind of pointed out, I like this buy button here, but you've got an inconsistency with your next one. This one looks like a totally different technology.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So I would keep the consistency with, you know, with your layout as far as that goes. Let's see. This is a really good image here. I think this probably needs to be higher rather than lower on the page. These are all great. I might take this one here and try and replace that with this one. The approved, I don't really think mom's going to care too much about that. That might be something you want to push down to the bottom. When you do your page for, you know, for the skin cancer stuff, then that's going to be top of mind. But I think when you're talking about mom here, mom is going to be more interested in protecting her kids here using this than something she's never heard about. Let's see. So yeah, this stuff's really good. one thing here you might want to do is tie this into really the ultimate benefit too. Rather than just, the windproof umbrella, very stable in high winds, you're kind of talking features again and not really the benefits. The benefit is so this thing doesn't take off on you. And, now you have a crisis. Mother wants to avoid crisis when she's tending to her kids. Right. And that's a crisis. Like you have your family sitting under this umbrella and all of a sudden, where'd it go? And you look and it's hauling ass down the beach, going to spear some other kid. That's a crisis. So this technology is your unique mechanism to deliver the outcome of that crisis is not something you have to worry about, Mom. We got that covered for you.
So how would you word that?
So probably just like I just said it, or similar to that.
Right.
And same thing here, paint the picture of what this is going to feel like. All the other moms sweating, under their umbrellas, miserable, wanting to leave and go get in a cold shower and disappoint their kids. And here, you're having the time of your life and your kids are having a great time and you're mom of the year. You really need to put this in that way. You've got to really get into their head. Moms, it's important to them. Their kids are important. And their comfort is important too. So, that's just the way you want to think about all of this stuff. If you want this to really, really be impactful, that's the way you need to kind of be thinking about everything.
Okay.
Everything, it should be engineered for creating demand and desire from your prospect. And we know your prospect here, it's mom. It's mom with small kids, mom with children. And this is horrifying to mom. This picture of this kid that's all burnt, that's horrifying. So that's going to grab her attention. One thing here, we had your big idea. Originally we had your big idea and we lost a piece of it here. It would be really easy to bring that piece back in the interim from when you run your ad to when you drop them on this landing page. And I think that's going to be really important. Because in your big idea, it was something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about the 3 things that moms don't know, or the 3. Let me look at your big idea here. Yeah, the 3 most dangerous mistakes new mothers make when taking their children to the beach. Damage is happening to your child every second they're exposed to the harmful rays of the sun. And then I've got those 3 things, that you need to really punch home how important sun protection is. And the first thing is overcast is more dangerous than direct sun. I don't know about you, but how many times have you been out when it was overcast and you didn't worry about shade or sunscreen? Yep. And at the end of the day, you were really, really sorry about that. I've gotten, personally, I've gotten burnt the worst in overcast.
Right.
I've never been burnt like that in direct sun. And, and that's something that moms don't think about. You need to bring this out. This is like the 3 things moms make mistakes, dangerous mistakes when it comes to their kids. Overcast is not safe. And that in itself sets you up for the next one. Well, not necessarily in this order, but the next one there is the 3rd one. Most dangerous rays of the sun penetrate most fabrics. So now you're annihilating your competition. You've set them up. You've set mom up by installing a belief that, hey, just because you're in the shade doesn't mean you're safe. You've proven that with that one thing. Overcast is more dangerous than direct sun. So now you're proving the fact that just because you're under somebody else's umbrella doesn't mean you're safe either. Not until you're under ours.
Mm-hmm.
So you're educating her. This is a little education-based piece. This doesn't have to be anything other than a PDF that's one page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these 3 things that, hey, Mom, here's 3 things you don't know I want to help you with. I want to help you protect your kid.
So this is some separate copy. This isn't copy that's going to be on that page?
Not necessarily. This could be the copy that leads them to that page.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have your ad, instead of dropping them directly on that page, you basically get them to opt in. They receive this, and then this introduces them to that next page. Because you're really setting them up for a big problem here. Mom knows now, hey, I can't take my kid out in the overcast. I don't want to put chemicals on them and coat them with something that might damage them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I know most of the umbrellas out here are not going to work. I'm screwed. You know, how am I going to take my kids to the beach? I'm screwed. You've educated them on that.
Okay.
Now you're going to offer them a solution. That's where you take them to that landing page. So that's kind of the way I would recommend that you do your flow. You have your ad talking about the 3 dangerous mistakes that mothers make, you know, when it comes to their kids and taking them outdoors. You want to lead them to that PDF that tells them the 3 things and educates them of, this is a big problem for you, Mom. You know, I want to help you. I want to educate you and make sure you keep your children safe. And then you introduce her to the solution, which is your landing page.
Perfect.
And then on the landing page, you're really dialing her in with, you know, all the reasons of why this thing is the best possible thing on the planet for her. That's kind of the sequence of the way I do that.
I think that sequence will work a lot better than just having this landing page, because I kind of throwing ads towards this landing page now, and I'm not really getting anything out of it. So I think structuring that would be helpful.
Yeah, so that's the way I would recommend doing it. I think you'll probably have decent success out of that. You know, we might need to tweak it and, you know, change it or what have you, but I think that's a pretty good baseline to start from for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to make sure that we're sending the right people to that landing page. We're sending the right, you know, the right offer to the right audience there for you.
Okay.
Hey, John, can I just throw in something?
Sure, go ahead, Gwen.
I was looking at that melanoma kind of seal, and most moms are aware of melanoma, especially if they tanned at all.
Okay.
Tanning beds, because they're getting melanoma now from the tanning beds. So that's kind of like it's like the seal of approval is like a third-party verification.
Okay.
So I'd say leave it in, possibly not up high, but I would leave it in kind of like that seal of approval, because that is a third-party verification of it. And most moms are aware of melanoma. Okay. And I have a couple friends that have already dealt with it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, and I wasn't recommending moving it. I was just recommending moving it down, just like you were talking about. And the other thing too, I don't know if I hit this before, but you've got your testimonials here, and what you're doing here is a good thing. You're having multiple calls to action throughout the page. That's a really good thing to do.
Yeah, see, that's why I added a couple additional buy buttons, because Ezra Firestone, who has this application, they did a review on it last week, and I wish I could send you what their review was, but I don't know how to send a video that's in their system to you. But they were recommending up top to change the colors and add more images, because it looked too serious and too medical. So that's why I added the original picture of the beach there with all the umbrellas. But your point was to make it more scare tactic and having a picture of the person that was actually sunburned. So
yeah. See, the thing is, they're right on adding images, but it's got to be the right image.
Yeah.
Because the image is just as important as the text here. The wrong text can give the wrong outcome, and the same thing with the images. Images are great. I say the more images, the better, because, you know, a picture says 1,000 words.
And you don't want to have someone read through 2 or 3 pages of copy to figure out how to buy the thing either. You want to have a couple buy buttons. You know, they recommend 3.
Sure, absolutely. But what I was getting to here is you've got your guarantee down at the bottom, the still not sure. I think I would move this up.
Okay.
I think I would take the guarantee up above the testimonials and either drop it in right here,
Yep.
right next to the buy button, the second buy button. I think that would probably be the best spot for the guarantee.
Okay.
And your images here, you've got the same image repeated over and over and over. If you can get a picture of a person, that would be phenomenal.
Well, I can get pictures of people, but not necessarily those people. I don't know how critical that is.
Yeah, and I'm not sure just putting pictures of people is really ethically the right thing to do.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would have a template here you could just add it without any images, but they didn't. So I guess I could try and do it without images, maybe. Just kind of craft something.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Or you could do a product image.
The other thing too is it's okay to cut stuff out of these testimonials. Like if you have testimonials that people send you, a lot of times there's pieces in there that you can make the testimonial much more effective by cutting little pieces out.
So you just put like a half a sentence and ... or something?
Or you can just remove it.
Oh, just have part of the quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Like here, I received my package and it didn't go to the beach for 2 weeks and found a small rip in the case. I don't think you want to put out that, they should expect they're going to get a rip in the case when they get this thing delivered.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if you just took that out, it'd be much stronger.
Right.
And then also watch out for their language. Like when they don't speak proper English, like, oh my God, what a good looking umbrella. Construction is 120%. The hell does that mean? Yeah. So again, I'd just cut that out. And by doing that, less is more. So don't be afraid to alter your testimonials. Everybody does it. Nobody takes, because people ramble. They ramble with the written word just like they do in videos. And what's the first thing you do with a video testimonial? You edit that thing down from, 5 minutes down to 15 seconds. So it's really important to look at every piece of copy that's on here and engineer it for your purpose.
Okay.
So anyway, hopefully that was helpful, and not just for you, but for everybody. This is all the same stuff. Everybody that's going through this process is going to encounter the same thing. So Russ, I applaud you for getting this far and just getting this together, even if it needs changes,
Right.
It's like the first thing. This is where most people don't get. Most people don't even get to this point.
The hardest part was getting to this point.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah. Exactly. So don't feel like, I've ripped this apart and you're like, oh my God, I did this all wrong. It's part of the process. You've got to go through this.
Right. Okay.
So you're one step closer to the carrot now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I got to get everybody up to, is like up to this point, get it up to the point where I can come through and and I'm not tearing it down. I'm building it up. That's what I'm doing here. I'm building this up. I'm making this powerful for you.
Right.
So that's what we want to get to.
Okay.
So,
all right. Sounds good.
Never be afraid. All right. Did you have any other specific questions about any part of this, or did I give you enough to bombard you for now?
You gave me enough. I got to switch up that. So you want the sunscreen and shade not keeping your child safe on top of
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this top and center, if you centered this right here, maybe made it a little bit bigger, that would be okay.
The heading?
Yeah, and then this image down wrapped with this text here.
Okay.
And then this centered right below it.
Okay.
And then a little bit of space, and combine those two into one chunk. And then strengthen these guys up.
Right.
And all the other stuff. It's it's basic stuff. This is not hard stuff, really.
Right. Okay.
You're in pretty good shape.
Do you have a Rolodex or list of people that you could recommend to write copy for that PDF that talks about the 3 factors that moms need to know about?
I honestly don't know of any copywriters that are going to write copy to our standards other than myself, that are not extremely expensive. So I would say rough it out, and then I'll fine tune it for you.
Okay.
Just get the basics, get the info in there, and I'm happy to go through and help you rewrite it. It's not a problem.
Okay.
I want to make this thing fly for you.
Yeah, I got to get it going because summer's ticking away.
Yeah. You have many years to benefit from this.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I don't think this is just a summer thing either. I think you've got parts of the country that are summer year-round.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway.
All right. Thanks for your help there, buddy.
All right. My pleasure. All right. Anybody else before we wrap up here?
Hello, John?
Yeah, go ahead, Ted.
On that first text that you told him to put across the page, wouldn't that be his H1 header? I mean, shouldn't he have his keyword in there?
If you're working on it from an SEO perspective, then yes. But this particular campaign is not necessarily geared toward SEO. This particular landing page is geared toward ads that will be run to drive traffic to it.
Oh, I see.
And again, I don't think he's really even figured out what the keywords should even be for that particular thing. So different pieces of content are, there's different ways to go about it. And actually, if you look at that, look at it again, keeping your children safe or keeping your child safe and related to sunscreen and shade, Google is going to pick that up and figure out what that means to their audience. So I don't think necessarily that it's lacking a specific keyword. It's highly relevant to a specific topic, so it might rank for a ton of different keywords. So that's kind of a different way of thinking about SEO at this point. SEO is not a keyword-focused strategy anymore. It's a relationship strategy to content. So you don't want to just rank for one keyword. You want to rank for all keywords related to a particular topic. So it's kind of the reverse of the old ways that were kind of spammy, that Google's not really impressed with that much anymore. But you're right. Any keywords that are in H1 tags they're given that on-page priority, that little bump. But it's not the end of the world if you don't have a particular keyword in there, as long as it's content relevant. It's highly relevant to the topic, which I think it is. Okay. So anything else? Any other questions, comments for the day? All right, guys. Well, hey, everybody, try and stay cool and out of all the crazy wildfires that are going on out there and around the country. And we will talk to you all next week.